Hello, gentle viewers. This is App Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 25 with the St. Louis Browns. This is going to be our final episode with the Browns. And while I definitely want to take some time at the end of the episode to take stock of what we've accomplished with the Browns, I also want to say this is kind of like playing historical leagues on hard mode. If if you have a team that started in the 1930s and you build a good enough farm system, you'll sail through the 40s. You'll sail through the 40s with no problem. Our problem is that we didn't have that luxury. We came in a little bit too late, and while we've been able to develop some pretty solid players, I don't think they're good enough. I don't. So that is going to be an issue that we're going to have to deal with. And I don't know how we're going to accomplish that, but we're certainly going to try. What do we want this season? I want better baseball players. That's what I want. Can I have that? Can I have some better baseball players, please? They don't have to be amazing. They just have to be better. Definitely want to look at hitters. All leagues, at least 50 potential, and go. Poor White Sox. Oh god, I'm gonna be stuck with the White Sox next, aren't I? Gross. Hmm. Hmm. And it doesn't help, and this is entirely on me, like I can't even be that mad about it, that guys like Willie Mays just get snapped up. Um, but they got snapped up in September, which is after free agency starts, which is before free agency starts. So that is a disappointment that I could have had him on my club, but regardless. First thing we need to do this episode is we need to go ahead and add ourselves a new. Is Harry Simpson any good? He's not good. Let's get ourselves a new bench coach. Now, since they're playing with chemistry off, I really don't care about their personalities. I just want the best possible coach. And Frank Kane certainly seems like a pretty good choice. Let's make it happen. Especially since they're gonna be my successor as manager at the end of this season. Can we get any better with the existing team? Probably not. I think it's gonna take ourselves a very successful draft in order to make any significant changes, in my opinion. Are there any interesting players in free agency, I wonder? A single one? I mean, there is Cleveland Clark, who's actually a pretty decent center fielder. I could see adding him to our club and giving us a little bit more depth at those positions. Because remember, I need a center fielder now. Because Pat Mullen's not a bad center fielder. We've got an option there. But I just don't see a downside to bringing in Cleveland Clark to strengthen our outfield. Uh, Motherfucker, I'll give you a major league contract. Don't even ask. Say less. And then it's all kind of garbage from there, which isn't unexpected. Maybe we can get lucky in the Rule 5 draft. That'd be pretty nice. I do have Johnny Pesky, don't I? I don't think it's any coincidence that our team hit a skid when he got hurt. I think in a very realistic sense, he's difficult to overcome. Um, I think that is a fair statement. Pat Mullins is pretty good. Vic Wertz could shift over to first base, maybe? Oh, you know what I didn't do? I did not do this. Vic Wertz, I'd like you to learn a new position. You can, in fact, no, you can learn a new position. There you go. Get it done, Vic. Please don't pick like fucking shortstop or something weird like that. That's so obnoxious. Like, what if he did become a shortstop? He's not going to. He's a mediocre outfielder. I have no delusions about his actual talent level. Perky Bob, let's get you to work on your control. Del Crandall, let's get you to work on your plate discipline. Harry Simpson, you know what? Generate bat speed. Let's see if I can't get you to for power. I probably can't, but it's worth a shot. Ralph Bronca, let's improve your secondary pitches. And last but certainly not least, Mel Parnell, let's have you work on your control as well. There you go. I want you know when I saw the Ralph Bronca's nickname was Hawk, I thought immediately of the Hawk Tuah girl. And now you have to think about it too. You're damn right it's a pleasure. Here we go. Yeah, I have really no downside as far as controlling the shit there, so you do you. I doubt we'll win any major awards. We might win a Gold Glove or two, we might win a Silver Slugger or two, but we're not going to win anything meaningful, in my opinion. I don't think we deserve it either. We just weren't good enough. Do we win anything? We got a Gold Glove. Thanks to Buddy Rosar and Pat Mullen. Isn't it wild that for so long Buddy Rosar never won a Gold Glove and all of a sudden he just starts winning them in his old age? I approve. Because all he's got going for him right now, because his bat is certainly not sufficient. But when you're that damn good at catching, I find it difficult to move on from you. He's just a little guy. You want a no trade clause. Okay. It's non-guaranteed contracts. A no trade clause isn't as good as you think it is. I mean, I guess you do get control over where you end up. That's fair. But, yeah. I don't think that's the winning strategy that you appear to think it is. Just gonna say that. Harry Walker, bro. Andy Pafko, bro. Jackie Robinson, bro. We're all bros down here. I doubt anybody else is gonna offer you what I did, and so yeah. Eddie Matthews is really, really good, and he's probably the only player in the draft class that's that good. Oh, we didn't do Hall of Fame voting. Let's do that first. I will vote for Luke Appling. I give up on Max Bishop. It's just not going to happen for him. Paul Derringer, yes. Tony Lazzeri, yes. That's really it. Like, there's not really any other players here that I think are so fantastic that they deserve election. Maybe this will finally be the year that fucking. Oh, I gotta vote for Tommy Bridges too. He's a good sort. Yeah, I find it difficult to believe that anybody who wasn't already going to vote for some of these guys is going to be like, oh yeah, I do want to vote for them. John Stone is somehow Hall of Fame eligible. That's wild. That is wild. I guess I could stretch a point and like throw in a couple of other players, but I honestly don't know who else I would choose. So let's just go for five. I'm not even being a small hall guy. I'm being a there are no good candidates guy. Let's draft. I can get the 10th best player in this draft. Something tells it's not going to be enough to get me where I need to go. At least it probably isn't good enough. I don't know. Jackie Jensen would be a pretty good pick. If he's still around by the time I get to draft, I would find him very useful. But I don't think he will be. I think somebody's going to overdraft people because they desperately need hitting. And that means Jackie Jensen is the third best hitter in this draft. I don't see him falling to number 10. I was correct. Chico Carrasco can only play shortstop. So even though the one thing I desperately wanted was a first baseman, I'm not going to get it. Mm. Mm. But a guy like Tom Morgan isn't a bad choice, especially if I can then trade one of my older players for a first baseman. That's not terrible. Wayne Bellardi is a legit first baseman, but he's also pretty far away from being major league ready. But I'll still draft him. Don fucking Zimmer, the guy with the plate in his head that Pedro Martinez beat up, or was beaten up, or that he beat up Pedro Martinez. No, Pedro Martinez definitely beat him up. Put him in a headlock. I think that was Pedro, wasn't it? Okay, now I gotta look it up. But I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up. Don Zimmer, Pedro Martinez fight. Yeah, he threw him to the ground. That's right. And he like put him like a little bit of a headlock. People, I guess, are arguing that he's trying to protect him. Maybe he was, but I just think it's funnier if you think like Pedro Martinez like hating him. He's such a treasure, though. Pedro Martinez is one of my favorite people in baseball history. He even makes some of the obnoxious baseball shows actually fun to watch. Um, Foster Castleman, but you can sign him for a mere $2,800. You have to do it. You have Red Robins, yum. For $260, I would love that. Not the restaurant. That's too much money for a restaurant. But I think I am happy with that. And then I need to get creative here. I have a glut of qualified pitchers. If I can turn one into a hitter, that would be delightful. I mean, there is also trying Carl Sawatsky into a first baseman. That is also theoretically possible. I could also play Sawatsky at second, Stevens at short, and then Johnny Pesky at second. That could be pretty solid. That's only your first baseman. What about Ed Lopat? What about you? I would like you to become the first baseman. Can you do that for me? Can you transform into a high quality first baseman? I mean, you could turn into Johnny Lindell, who's a terrible first baseman. Um, really? But Elo Pat's not that great, so I guess I kind of get it. But that still makes me sad. I'm not going to give up Parnell or Sane or Rowe. But I give up Paulette, I might give up Paulette. Sort by position, please. What if I traded Johnny Sane? Does that give me any better choices? It gives me more choices. I'm just not convinced they're any better. Like, I'm not bringing Hank Sauer back. I felt for that once before. I'm not going to do it again. Herman Bell is not a first baseman. He just isn't. Really? Are there no good first basemen being offered? Not even one. Excuse me. I could fix Jeff Heath and put him at first base. Maybe? Question mark. Johnny Lindell is low-key one of my best choices at first base. That's terrifying. You want Ed Lopat? You can have Ed Lopat. I need a first baseman, and so that fixes that problem kind of. At least gives me a reliable veteran first base option in case Vic Wertz doesn't learn first base. And I would love to get another quality bat of any type. But I don't think anyone else is on the block. That is of interest. I guess there's Jeff Heath. If I just want to add a little bit of thump off the bench. But I just don't think he's worth it. Let's go to the Rule 5 draft. Let's see if somebody's stupid enough to give up a decent hitter. Vic Wertz had tried to learn second fucking base. Are you joking? Are you having a laugh at my expense that you think you can pick up second base? Oh my god. We could trade Stan Spence. I feel like Vic Wertz has to get regular playing time. I feel like that is a requirement. Stan Spence could play first base. I don't think he'd be great at it, but he could do it. It's funny, his bat last year was just about as good as the previous year, but he just forgot how to play the outfield. I could play him at first base. That is an option that is available to me. Because I really want to get Mullen into the field. I think he's a pretty talented player, and he might even be my starting center fielder. Potentially. I don't know. I don't know. Are we going to win a World Series on our last year? I doubt it. I just don't think we have the raw talent that we need to make that a thing. I just don't see it. A lot would have to go right, starting with my starting pitcher staying healthy and starting with one or more of my young hitters breaking out. Like, Whitey Lockman had a fantastic season last year. I need him to be even better, or at least keep that level. And when somebody goes from single digits to 23 home runs in a single year, that's pretty crazy. We have some really, really young players on this team, which is excellent. If we were playing another 5 to 10 years, I'd feel a little bit better about it. But as it is, I don't know. I am unable to know. I also would not object to a decent reliever, if such a thing exists. Harry Simpson is already my player. Bill Howerton. He's competent, surprisingly so, and I'm willing to give him a chance, but I don't see him actually making the roster. The Rifleman is back. Yeah, I'll throw Bill Howerton in there. Why not? Um, excuse me. There's nobody else good here. Cal McClish has kind of a nice rubber arm, and he's got a nice mix of pitches. I guess we could give him a shot and just see if he can develop effectively, but I don't know that I trust him. Yeah, there ain't nothing here. I think I'm literally the only person who took anybody in the Rule 5. No, I take that back. Kermit Wall and Joe Astroth are both there. Alright. So we've added a pretty good on base machine who's actually a very talented center fielder. That is an excellent addition to this club. I don't know where he fits right now. Oh, my 40-man is roster. My 40-man roster is full? Full of what? Garbage? I mean, Clyde McNeil's pretty fucking shitty. Here you go. Everybody that is rated less than 40 is being waived. If you're ever going to be good players, you would have done it well before now. So, yeah. I do need to pick up 1 to 2 more infielders now if I'm going to let those guys all go. What do we have in an infielder? We could have Jeff Williams or Leon Kelman. Jeff Williams doesn't really do it for me. Let's sort by defense. What are we looking at here? Norman Heath is a really good defensive shortstop, and I would not trust him within 100 miles of actually hitting baseballs for me. But I will happily offer him $0 to fill out the farm system. Buck Felder is actually much closer to what I'm looking for. A decent utility guy that can handle himself with a bat, but is also a reasonably good defender. Again, I'm going to offer you a major league contract. Um, I think he would make a pretty fine addition to this club. Sid Gordon hurts. Like, to think that a player of this magnitude was lurking within him and I could have had him for my very own, and then I traded him for basically a bag of magic beans is very frustrating. Because they weren't even good magic beans. I didn't get to, like, grow a beanstalk or anything. Unfortunate. Who will make the Hall of Fame? Probably no one. What? Oh my god. I mean, I can't be upset because I'm sure I would have done it, but that's still very annoying. Why all of a sudden you look like complete garbage? Oh, because you are complete garbage. Yeah, you're just, depth. It's all you're meant to be. Yeah. Damn, Lazeri, Appling, and Medwick all made it. How did I miss Joe Medwick? I 100% would have voted for him if I had seen him. Hmm. That is wild that I missed him. I mean, he wasn't as good as real life Joe Medwick. Like, this is good. Real life Joe Medwick also won a Triple Crown, which I think really helped him so let's cement his legacy, but that is passingly strange. I'm here for it. Like, I'm glad he made it in, but I would have voted for him had I seen him. It be like that sometimes. Let's go to preseason. I have several players designated for Summit. Nobody wanted you guys. I am utterly unsurprised. If y'all would try sucking less, then maybe the other teams would want you. The Dodgers and the Braves are such good teams. It's gonna be a nightmare trying to break into either league at this point. I mean, anything's possible, of course, but I don't like our chances. I genuinely don't like our chances for whichever league we end up in. I think there's just too much talent up at the top. Um, I'm taking whoever has the first overall pick, though. I think if we have any shot, we have to get those really top tier players have to be on our team. They have to be. And so whoever's got the number one overall pick, I don't care how good, bad, or indifferent they are, is going to be the team that we adopt next. We're only going to play through two more teams, because as I said before, we're going to stop in 1970. So after this coming team, there'll be one more. And then, I mean, that's going to be a while from now, right? Like that's going to be sometime next year. Is it really? Yeah, it's going to be 20 weeks. That's going to put us well into 2025. Um, After that, I have no idea. I have not the foggiest idea. This is a good time to start planning ideas in my head. So if you have a great idea for a series you think would be a lot of fun, go ahead and drop that in the comments or send a message to me on Reddit. Uh, and we will plot something out. I do want to continue to do two OOTP series, but I want to stay away from historical at this point. I think I've done it too much. And I think it's kind of lost its appeal, at least for me. Um Unless we did a much more recent historical series. Like maybe starting in like 95 or something, or just in like the 80s or 90s. I might be willing to go along with that. I should have traded Nels Potter. Oh well, he keeps throwing harder, which I find fascinating. I like how Carl Sawatsky went from being an average shortstop to just being complete dog shit overnight. Like he's like defense, what's that? That significantly reduces his value, which makes me sad. Run scenes all of a sudden got really slow. A lot of changes are happening, and I can't say that I care for them. Stan Spence is still decent. He's just not elite. But yeah, so that's something I could see happening. Like starting back in the 80s, I could get behind that. That gets us into free agency, and it gets us to a more interesting time to build teams. Um, Another possibility is another modern franchise, but one I haven't played before. Um, Anyways, just some ideas, and I would love to hear from y'all because you're the people that watch my shit. If you're enjoying yourself, then I'm happy. And I know that I'm being a useful sausage. Del Crandall, you're already sort of advanced for your age. Let's get you in there. Get you some spring training reps. Tom Morgan, spring training for you. Perky Bob, not so much. Harry Simpson, I guess. Try it. Position all players, and I'm just gonna let you do your thing. The fuck is Chuck Deering? Wait, who is Chuck Deering? I do not remember you at all. You're an amazing defender, so I guess I can live with this, but. Oh, Buckfelder actually starts here. Wait, who is supposed to be playing second base for us? Oh, I think Sawatsky was on the short list to play second base for us and then just didn't do it. Stan Spencer first base is fine. I can live with that. Are we getting any playing time for Vic Wards whatsoever? He's our number one pinch hitter, and he is starting against left-handed pitching, so that's fine. That is adequate. Like, I'm trying to think of who would people consider the worst team in the modern majors? Like the Rockies, maybe? I don't know. Who would be considered the worst team in the modern major leagues? Somebody who just is constant shit year in and year out. Like, the Rockies are the team I keep thinking of, but that seems wrong to me. But it seems like everyone else has been, like, competitive of late. I mean, there's the A's, of course, but we've already done an A's franchise. And the answer to the A's being successful is pretty obvious. You have to just, launch John Fisher into the sun. It's that simple. Um, a Rockies series would be weird, but maybe fun. I've also done the Pirates, so you can't stick me with them uh this time around. I'm onto your game. It's like a really small market franchise that actually just performs terribly year in and year out besides the Pirates and the whatchamacallums. Hmm. The Brewers are a little bit too good, same with Tampa. I don't know. I'll be eager to hear your thoughts of a team that would be a fun one to play. If we do decide to go the major league route, which we probably will. Okay. 38 players, 19 pitchers. Let's get that number down to 12. Let's take this shitty shithead and just dispose of him. Wow. He went from, like, here's a slight chance to be a good player, and you just turned into nothing. Like, your offensive skills just disintegrated. I'm gonna send you back to the minors in the hopes you can recover some of your skill, but that is not an exciting sign. Tommy Byrne, I think you are done for me. I think your control is just so terrible that you can't make up for your other skills. I think you have to be sent on your way. All players. Yeah, Tommy, I'm gonna sneak you through waivers, and I suspect nobody's going to claim you. Alright. Clint Hartnell absolutely does not deserve to be in the majors. John Leftwich can chill out in the minors. Tom Morgan can chill out in the minors. Where am I at now? 15 pitchers. Sheldon Jones certainly isn't anything special. Al McClish, you can return to your home team. I no longer want anything to do with you. Okay, so it says 13 pitchers, but Harry Simpson counts as one, and I'm not keeping Harry Simpson. Actually, I will keep Sheldon Jones because I'm not going to keep either Harry Simpson or I don't think I'm going to keep Del Crandall. Tom Cooper is a pretty solid choice to be our backup catcher. Clyde Klutz can go to the minors, and Carl Sawatsky can also go to the minors. All right, I gotta go to 3 more players. Braithwaite to the minors. The value of Chuck Deering is he's an amazing defender, but he has very little offensive skill. And I like him better as a utility outfielder than as a starter. I think Bill Howerton gets returned to his home club. I think that's another easy decision to make. Yeah, Pat Mullen can't play center anymore. That makes me sad. I think. Do I trade Pat Mullen to open up a spot for Vic Wertz? I don't think I do. So Cleveland Clark plays center field for us, and I think he might. Because he's got good on base skills. That actually makes Chuck Deering expendable. I'm going to send Chuck Deering to the minors. No, I'm not. I need an elite defender on the bench. I think Cliff Mapes could be turned into a prospect. Maybe. A player of some description. Or nothing. Could also easily turn into nothing. Cliffy, my boy, I'm waving you. If somebody else picks you up, I hope you enjoy many years of success with their team. Vic Wertz is a really good all-around hitter. It would be a crying shame to not be able to put him in the lineup fairly frequently. If you want to play Mullen ahead of him for now, I think that's reasonable. Um, I could put him first base ahead of Stan Spence. I still think Stan Spence has a little bit more to offer us with his bat, but I very much see him not being around for too much longer. The pitching staff can stay as it is. I'm not gonna mess with this because I think it actually is the right choice. I think Ralph Branca makes a pretty intimidating closer. Lineups I will be fixing the way that I would like them fixed, however. All right, Johnny Pesky has to hit leadoff, and I think playing him at third base makes sense. I think it's a reasonable position for him to be in. Whitey Lockman, I think, makes a fine number two hitter. I know he just hit 23 home runs. I'm not convinced he can do that again. So let's get a good on base guy and have him hit second and play left field. I'm comfortable with that. Hitting third, I think, is Vern Stevens. I think Vern Stevens is the right call there. I am a little bit concerned about his ability to play shortstop because he lost so much speed, but I'm hopeful that he'll at least be cromulent, if nothing else. Then who hits cleanup? I think the answer is actually Pat Mullen, followed by Stan Spence hitting fifth. Does Pat Mullen actually have like a great big hole in his swing? Does he really struggle against lefties? He's certainly not as good. And I do want to get Vic Wertz some meaningful at bats, so I think having him start at right field against left-handed pitching is a good way to get him those at bats in a fairly low risk environment. I think Cleveland Clark plays second or plays center field, and he plays center field and hits sixth. Now he is not a perfect center fielder, but he is very good, and I think he is more useful than having an elite defender who just will never hit a baseball to save his life. I need a second baseman. And almost by default, that becomes Buck Felder. I don't love it, but I genuinely don't have a better option. Stan Rojak, maybe, but his only skill is not striking out. That's not the kind of thing that makes a starting second baseman. It just isn't. Buddy Rozarkin at seventh. And then I guess, yeah, we do go ahead and start Buck Felder. Now, this creates an interesting issue because I had actually hoped to have Buck Felder be a backup, not a starter. So we're gonna have to rattle the old brain pan to try to find ourselves another quality infielder. I don't want Deering playing that frequently. If you want to spell what Lockman every now and again with Lindell, I'm on board with that. But I don't think of Deering starting every third game just because he's a really good center fielder. I need more than that, and I don't think he can offer it. Let's try to get ourselves another infielder. Shea Robinson just a lost cause at this point. Shea Robinson really is just a lost cause at this point. Somebody want to trade Harry Simpson for another infielder? It seems like people like him for some reason. Really? Nobody wants Harry Simpson? Okay. Fine, I don't want to trade him anyway. Is there really no one? I mean, there's Dick Culler, I guess, to be a utility infielder. I guess Stan Rojak works, but I still think we're too thin. And I'm really tired of you trying to start Chuck Deering. So you know what? Deering goes to the minors. That's a deliberate fuck you to the game. Your center going, oh, Chuck Deering this, Chuck Deering that, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. He can hang out in the minors, and if something happens to Clark, he's first in line. Boy, this lineup has a pretty high variance. Because there's a bit more thump, I could easily see 4 to 5 players hitting 30 plus home runs and dominating the league. And I can also see all of them striking out 250 times with like 200 batting averages. So no matter how many home runs they hit, they're still not good enough. Reminds me like the tail end of Mark McGwire's career. Where yeah, he was still able to hit home runs and draw walks, but that wasn't enough. because he just wasn't hitting at a high enough rate. So you only play 500 ball. That modest expectation, I think we can handle. We had the worst farm system in the major leagues. That's hot. Sure, you could be bad, or you could be legendarily bad, and I know which one I would rather to be. I do. Who on her is a non-roster invitee? Oh, Dick Color. I forgot about that. Yeah, that young scamp of a rookie, Dick Color. He's the man. I'm looking forward to a full season of Johnny Sane leading this rotation and offering some veteran know-how to help our youngsters improve, like Mel Parnell. Parnell? I saw Hannibal in the theaters, the sequel to Silence of the Lambs, and when Gary Oldman kind of just kept saying Cordell, that was like a whole thing with me and my friends. Also, I'm fucking old because I remember that movie in theaters. That's wild. I don't even like horror movies, but I really like Silence of the Lambs as a whole concept. It's a shame that the TV series didn't get more than a season. Was it called Clarice? I actually enjoyed that, but then again, if you want to sit there and tell me, Abby, there's too many police procedurals on television anyway, I accept that. It seems like it's the one franchise we just can't let go of, and that's a reasonable take. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. Getting worse is not going to help your case, Sherry. Pat Siri is still in the minor leagues. For that one shining moment, Pat Siri seemed like he might be a really good hitter. But I don't know why I kept him as long as I did. The time to trade him was in 1946, not in 1947. Oh well. Live and learn, and he's also the same fuckhead that kept being like, maybe you just want to play in the indies. You know, I've got your indies right here. Indies nuts. You heard me. Um, but yeah, going back to too many shows on TV or police procedurals, which is weird because I love them and I really like detective games, so I play so many of them. The one I've been playing recently is called Cognition, an Erica Reed thriller. That's actually pretty good. Um, I can't remember if the voice actress is actually from Boston or was just told to play a Boston accent because it's not fully convincing. But it's not nearly as bad as say Heavy Rain. Where you get the fucking French Canadian guy trying to do a Boston accent and it's just awful the entire time. It's even worse than mine, and that's saying something. For those who have played Heavy Rain, I'm referring to the detective from the FBI. I just like flat out just gives up on it at times. He's like, you know what, this isn't working for me. It's not working for any of us, friend. It's terrible. Um, what else have I been playing lately? I've been playing a lot of Root, which you've already seen in the channel. I enjoy Root quite a lot. So much 18xx. Guys, I cannot even begin to tell you how much 18xx games I play in a given week, but it's a lot. I usually have between 25 and 30 games open at any one time. Del Crandall is playing pretty damn well, which is fun. We only really have a month worth of at bats. I don't know that I have enough to make any judgments yet. Whitey Lockman needs to figure out his shit awful quick though. Like I don't know what's happened to him, but he needs to stop playing so poorly. Play better, Whitey. Good from Vern Stevens and Pat Mullen though. That's very exciting to see. Cleveland Clark has been pretty productive. Buck Felder not so much. Stan Spence is just kind of chilling at this point. What I really don't like is that he's lost his batting eye, but he's still semi-productive, and I certainly don't have a ready replacement for him. Ralph Branca has been an awful pitcher because he's walking people. Why is this always an issue with us? I don't know. I think Ted Wilkes takes over as a stopper. I think Branca's had a chance. In 20 plus innings, he can't stop walking people. And that's just not good enough. So you're going to turn into a middle reliever. And Nels Potter's going to take over setup duties. I just like how ever since he become a reliever, he started throwing harder and harder. That's wild. That's kind of funny. It's a little funny. Johnny Sane is not as funny. Which is weird because he's basically the same pitcher he was last year. He's just not as effective. He's also given more home runs, which is not a great look for him. Either way. You know what? My man Diz is and always will be our ace. Johnny, you're the number 3 now. Deal with it. I've not been playing Vicky 3. That's something I'm going to start playing again. I played it for a little bit after Sphere of Influence came out, and then I just got distracted by other games. I just finished Open Roads. I love walking simulators. It's one of my favorite genre of games. And Open Roads is really, really good. It's by some of the same developers that did Gone Home and Tacoma. Very enjoyable. Nulls Potter, shut the fuck up. Okay, I want you to take your word hole and seal it with cement. I hear you saying, Abby, wouldn't that make him suffocate to death? If you're gonna complain that much, maybe that's what you deserve. I'm just saying. Think about it. The AL's really tight this year. Like, you know, the A's are winning the division, but they're hardly running away with it, which is very fascinating. I don't think you started the starting lineup. I think you're a little bitch and you do what I tell you to do. I would be such a terrible baseball manager in real life. Like, somebody comes with like a genuine concern and you're just like, fuck off, dude. I don't want to hear your bullshit. Bill Fisher is a really good pitcher, but I have no market for prospects when I'm not even going to have his team next year. Ironically, I was actually a supervisor in real life for a year and a half, and I actually think I did pretty well at it, but mostly because I don't tell people to fuck off for no reason. Probably an important skill if you want to become a supervisor yourself. Wow, okay. That's new. I did see that, right? Like, all of a sudden, he's like, you want me to win now? What? Man, I don't know, bro. If that's a new thing, I actually kind of like that. That's kind of neat. Not that it's gonna matter. Like, we're completely fucked. Um, I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to be competitive with this team the way that it's built. And I'm not saying it's because they did a bad job building the team. I'm saying because you can't make chicken salad with chicken shit, and that's what we've had to work with for the past. Fucking Sid Gordon is having another amazing year. Oh my god. Okay, I have made some pretty stupid decisions. I'm coming to grips with that quite rapidly. Zam. Sherry Robertson is having a good year in AAA. Good for him. I mean, Woody Lockman has fixed himself. He is now at least acceptable. But we're just kind of a mid team. We don't do anything terribly. We don't do anything well. We're just kind of there. Um, And I don't even know what we want. Like, I can't even look at this team and tell you what would change our fortunes. Maybe a new catcher, maybe a new second baseman, but these things don't grow on trees. And they're both offering a ton of value defensively, which makes it hard for me to say, oh, we should just get rid of them. Um, like, why not? Like, what about Carl Sawatsky? Carl Sawatsky is injured, I believe. Where'd he go? Where's my main man? Carlos. There he is. Yeah, he can't catch. I mean, Del Crandall is a reasonably good catcher. He's maybe not as good. In fact, I know he's not as good as Buddy Rosar. Tom Cooper has been playing pretty poorly. What if we gave Del Crandall a shot? Just for the lulls. How does that grab you, game? Also playing a lot of Starfield of late. Um, I want to be ready when the expansion comes out. Um, so I'm looking forward to that. I have too many games on my computer, and I don't play them as much as I should. I tend to fix it on specific games. It's a real curse. Really, game? This just feels cruel to me. This is just like, you know what? Fuck you. And all you hold dear. That's just gross. I mean, I guess we could put Nels Potter back in the rotation and give Tommy Byrne another shot as a reliever? Question mark. No, Nels Potter can't be a starter. Someone here has to be able to be a starter, right? Oh, you guys are all like reasonable pitchers. Okay. Would be the best suited to be a starting pitcher? Probably Ralph Branca. How the fuck did he end up being the closer again? Like, what the actual fuck? I said I wanted Nels Potter to be the stopper. And I want Ted Wilkes to be my setup dude. That's fine. I'm losing Dizzy Trout probably just cost us any chance in 1,000 years at even coming close to the postseason. Like, I think that ship has sailed so long ago. When fucking Philly and Boston could just keep like printing out amazing players. Yeah. How many people from St. Louis actually made the All Star team? Vern Stevens did. Pat Mullen did. And Mel Parnell did. That's 3 All Stars. I genuinely expect us to have one or maybe two. Damn. I've got to admit, Sid Gordon is probably already one of the worst deals I've ever made. I feel like it's got to rank pretty highly. I mean, you might just say you're such a fucking clusterfuck as a GM at that, yeah. Where's me trading Sid Gordon? There he is. I've already lost 5.4 war in the deal, but thankfully Howie Pillette's been decent. But yeah, that has not worked out for me. This just keeps hurting. Fucking Cecil Travis. Man. Yeah, Sid Gordon is right there. I haven't had a single. Well, no, I take that back. Johnny Pesci's been a pretty good draft pick, but I cannot tell you. Oh, figuring out how to make Bob Johnson competent was a pretty outstanding trade. I have not made very many good trades. I don't know why Carl Hubble doesn't show up here. I've always found that odd. Who did I even trade to get Carl Hubble? The Hall of Famer. I traded him for Hani Manouche. I think it's funnier than hell that I actually traded him to the A's to begin with, and then I turned around and got him right back with the Red Sox. I didn't even remember that. Damn. I wonder if it's because I only get credit for the first trade and not the second or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, I haven't made very many good trades. And pointed back, a lot of my trades have actually kind of bit me in the butt. But yeah, no. I think I did so well with the two Boston franchises that I've kind of set myself up for failure no matter who I picked up after that. I did say I would take whoever had the number one overall pick, but it seems like taking the Dodgers is cheating. I'm not even gonna bother putting on the IL. I can't be bothered anymore. We'll figure it out or we won't. Like I think finishing above 500 is probably the best we can expect, and even that might be kind of dodgy. I hear the Russ Christopher or not. I could have had Bob Chipman, but alas, no such luck. Rocky Bridges is an okay trade. We can make this deal. I'm fine with that. Because Harry Simpson and essentially Clyde Klutz are nothing special. So I think it's more than reasonable to make that trade a reality. Guardians. I don't think it's even much point getting involved at the trade deadline here. I mean, I'll at least start it and see if people offer me something, but I don't think there's anything that's going to make a difference. But I guess Phil Rizzuto would make a pretty big difference, but I don't see being able to. I don't see me being able to acquire him. Also, I don't trust his bat. He's very much a defense first shortstop that might occasionally hit a bat, hit a ball, and I don't think that's a worthy thing to focus on. Eddie Eustace too old. Yeah, there's nothing here. It's all a big pile of bullshit. I think before judging yourself too hardly on trades, I think it's important to remember that there's also fewer trades. They just don't happen as much. And a big part of that is because there's little incentive to make trades. The way this league is currently set up. Um, because if you have a great player, it's so easy to keep them that there's no incentive to trade them. And if the player's shitty, you can just release them. So again, trading isn't a super effective way of building your team. Having said that, I've always made some pretty boneheaded trades when I have traded, so maybe I shouldn't throw stones. Player of the week to Baltimore pitcher. Man, when the Baltimore Orioles become a major league franchise, they're gonna look awfully good. I know my owner won't be happy, but as long as we finish a few games over 500, I will be reasonably pleased. Um, what happened to the Dodgers? They've got so much raw talent. I don't see how they're playing so poorly this year. I have already been eliminated from the postseason. It's the Dothan Browns. My apologies. My hopes are alive and well for the next couple of weeks. We just choke every time we face the really good teams. And I think that's. You know what, Vern Stevens? Let's start a charity. Like Derek Zoolander's charity. I mean, Vern Stevens is kind of the heart and soul of the St. Louis Browns. Him and Stan Spence. And the fact that both of them are having shitty seasons is not a coincidence or why we're playing so poorly. Jesus Christ, Sid Gordon. Quit fucking rubbing my nose in it. Man just casually says, "Oh, I'm finally free of the stink of the Browns. Watch me become an all-star. And an MVP candidate. Which he certainly was never going to be with me. Maybe I should have just accepted him for who he was and let him play, instead of trying to fuck with him. Hmm. We'll never know. I know I'm kind of mailing it in, but there's really no interesting decisions to make when you're this far out of first place. Um, Especially when it's your last season with a team. I might be playing. We might be staying in St. Louis though, just with a different St. Louis franchise, which will be interesting. I did not plan it so that I would end up playing two teams in the same city 2 times in a row, but that might be what we're going for. I'm now watching the Cardinals more than I'm watching my own team, which is probably, pathetic, but that's where we are. I mean, the fact you have to win the league in order to win the pennant just makes it so challenging and difficult to win year in and year out. Unless you have the advantage that I had, which was basically unlimited access to the Negro leagues. Um, mm. You don't have to take my one good young player and injure him. That was not required. Game. And now we have actually been eliminated. So I really hate being the bitch of the Philadelphia A's. Like every single time I make a trade with them, I get hosed. It eats at me seeing, first of all, the game fucking me over by handing Ted Williams to the Philadelphia A's. I mean, I know it wasn't the game screwing me in particular, but it was the game randomly releasing him. That basically made the A's what they are now. Taking them from reasonably competent team to like powerhouse. And then they just keep printing out amazing players. 3 of the top guys in home runs are all A's. Although remember, the A's home park is very, very, very friendly to home runs. Take a look at their park factor. I guess it's they're not in the bigger bowl anymore. So actually the park isn't that home run friendly. The park actually eats home runs, and yet they still make us look like chumps. Chumperoos. We've had an entire team of guys that either struck out or home run or hit home runs every single time they swung the bat. Wouldn't that be crazy? That'd be fun. Like, sure, they hit, they strike out 3 times a game, but also 2 home runs a game. That'd be quite a player. Given that they literally hit more than 200 home runs, if they could manage that, that would be pretty exciting. I wonder if you'd get bored of it. Like knowing that every single time you go to the park, one player's gonna hit 2 home runs every single time. Is there like a level of home runs that are so commonplace that they become dull? It's a question for the philosophers, perhaps. Can we finish the season less tepid? Guys, we did it. We secured an above 500 record. I don't know how the fuck we even played as well as we did this year. It's been a real disappointing year. Fucking Ted Williams, man. Between ridiculous Ted Williams and Sid Gordon, it just feels gross. It makes me sad to think that one day we could have been there, but we weren't. The French are set to retire as Sacre Bleu. Remember Clint Hartnung? I remember Clint Hartnung. What a guy. Oh my god. I really don't need you to stop the sim every time one of my players retires. I really don't need that. Oh my god, stop! Cease! Let my suffering end. Really, game? Really? I get it. I have like 75 fucking minor league teams. I need to get every second. Oh, damn, the Giants won the World Series. Good for them. That's a shock. The A's are really, really good. Let's just until the playoffs end, and then we will switch teams to the St. Louis Cardinals. Great. Please stop, game. I guess there's like a button to hit. I mean, there's a button you can hit. You can hit Do Not Disturb, and then the game won't bother you as much, but if it was hard with the St. Louis Browns, I really struggle to see us making an impact with the Cardinals. Like, I think it took a lot of wizardry to even get us to being above 500. I just don't see that happening again. I genuinely don't see us being able to recover quickly unless we can get not just a great talent, but a truly elite A11 talent with the Cardinals. Why, game? What possesses you to think this is a topic that catches my interest? To hear that minor leaguer who never even played in the major leagues retired, therefore, fuck you. Damn, if you're a fan of Boston or Philly, what an exciting race at the end of the season there. By 1 percentage point, George Kell cranked out a batting title. Well, Tony's probably going to MVP again. Sid Gordon's just got to settle for second place. And first place in my anger. I mean, it's fine. This is actually kind of a depressing run with the team. I think the fact we got to the World Series so quickly set really unfair expectations for me. And I was never going to be able to achieve that just because of when we played. There just wasn't enough talent coming into the league. Um, is that going to change in the 50s? It might. What baseball book was I reading recently? Um, it's on my shelf somewhere. Yes. The Game by John Pissau. Highly recommended. Excellent book. I think I talked about it briefly in a video a week or two ago because when we lost power, I read a lot of books. I'd already read that one before, but it's a really interesting look at how baseball developed the way that it did in the steroid era. Uh, but yeah, I'm just reminded of I don't know where I'm going with this. Something to do with George Kell and Ted Williams, but now I don't remember. I mean, there are some decent passages about when Ted Williams retired and they had him at the one All Star game. Um, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, it's a good book. You should read it. The Game by John Pissau. That's Pessah. It doesn't pull any punches either, which I always appreciate in sports books. I feel like too many sports books, like this team could do nothing wrong, or everyone is a saint, and we all know that isn't true. Yeah, well, I've got an idea for you. Go to hell. I can't believe I got a contract extension after that, and I'm just gonna fucking walk and be like, no, you know what? Fuck you. But let's first of all, let's chat about the St. Louis Browns this year and then historically. Johnny Pescus had one of the wildest and most just variable careers I've seen. 2 years, the guy wasn't even replacement level. Sandwiched between those 2 years are some of the best years in the game. But then he slips a bit and then he bounces back. He forgets how to play second base and then he learns it again. It's been nuts. I think Vern Stevens is more than anybody kind of the heart and soul of this version of the St. Louis Browns. Just a steady Eddie who goes out there every single day, except for 1945, and just plays well. He's got a few All Star games to his credit. Stan Spence, if I were taking the Browns next season, I'd be getting rid of him at this point. He has nothing left to offer. Vic Wertz was actually pretty decent. Love that for us. Waddy Lockman was good, just not as great as he was last year. Cleveland Clark was a revelation, a nice little pickup. Pat Mullen was really reliable. Buck Felder even turned in a good season, as did Buddy Rosar, even though Vodun was a great hitter. Pitching wise, okay, Howie Paulette had one of the craziest years I've ever fucking seen. That's crazy that he got 7 WAR. Like, where the fuck did that come from? I can't even look at him and figure out what makes him so great. He struck people out at a decent clip. He didn't walk very many, and he didn't allow very many home runs. But I mean, Mel Parnell had a phenomenal second season. He really improved significantly. Preacher Rowe and Johnny Same were reliable. Ralph Branca had a pretty decent season. Let's not forget the injured Dizzy Trout, who I know is also having a good year. The Diz before his injury. But let's bask for just a moment in the team history of the St. Louis Browns. Let's look at our leaderboard. Who do we have here that would qualify as an all-time great St. Louis Brown? There's John Stone. I know he didn't play for us for a long time, but he was definitely one of the St. Louis Browns of all time. Johnny Pesky, already ninth all time in hits. Rudy York, who he sent along. Whitey Lockman, rapidly shooting up this chart despite being at the tender age of 23. Low key, Whitey Lockman is like an incredible player, given how young he is. He could end up destroying all the charts. I want to shortlist him because he's so good. More batting leaders. Slugging percentage. Stan Spence putting in a good. Vern Stevens coming in number 10. Rudy York is the best hitter in St. Louis Browns history by OPS. That's pretty funny. By WAR, it's John Stone, but Stan Spence comes in at number 3. Pesky at number 5. Vern Stevens at number 8. Hits. Stan Spence could break into the 2,000 hit mark if he can have a little career renaissance. I just don't think he will. Uh, Doubles, home runs. Literally nobody we've ever had has hit 100 home runs that we've added to this club. Because Johnson was already a Brown when we acquired the team. Wait, what was I talking about? No, I was looking at triples. Sorry. Yes, I have two people that are high on the list that I drafted, and Stan Spence and Vern Stevens. Cicely George. Some good walk numbers. Poor Yank Robinson got hit 57 times in only 2,000 at bats. Look at pitching. Any pitching craziness? Probably not. But maybe. Nobody here is that impressive. We do have some of the win leaders, though. Dizzy Trout is somebody that I drafted. And he is already... No, I didn't draft him. We already had him. Claude Passo is also second all time in losses. He has 6 more wins than he has losses, which is funny. Saves. Ken Chase, my guess, is one of my great achievements, question mark. Passo's a low-key Hall of Famer, potentially. He just pitched a lot of innings, and he pitched them fairly well when he did. Whip. Licorice Whip. Um, who did we draft? Was I just a fuck up from day one? So I started in 1939 draft. Who did we take in 1939? Johnny Pesky, that one clearly worked out pretty well. Kellner, not so much. Delsing, not so much. Lockman, pretty good. Bronca, jury's still out on him, but he seems like he's alright. Sawatsky, nothing yet. Steve Bilko, not even playing for me anymore. Lou Burdett is still in the minor leagues, hasn't even gotten a chance to start yet. Johnny Antonelli and Del Crandall are both on this team. Good old Perky Bob might be joining them in the near future here. And we don't know anything about Tom Morgan yet. Tom Morgan might turn out to be a pretty decent player. But if we look at our team, and we sort by this, Vic Wirtz was a minor league free agent signing. Stan Spence we purchased from the Indies. Who was he playing for when I purchased him? The Eau Claire Bears. No, he was with the Jeanneret Blues. 4 draft picks, one of which was not mine. Bernstein's was already on the team when I acquired it. A bunch of players got through trades, most of them not terribly thrilling, and then a couple of free agent signs. We'll look at pitching. I think the story will be a little bit different because I think there'll be more draft picks. Yeah, 2 Rule 5ers and Nels Potter and Sheldon Jones, 3 regular draft picks and Antonelli Bronca, and then Crandall. A whole bunch of trades to build a rotation, and then free agency for Tommy Byrne. So, we now end the job and end the series. Not the series, but end this particular season by quitting our job. I'm gonna go, yo, dog, I hear you like St. Louis. I cannot get a job with the St. Louis Cardinals. What the fuck is this shit? No, you don't get to tell me now. I don't think so, guys. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna try commissioner mode. Here you go. Commissioner mode. I take the fucking job that I want. The St. Louis Cardinals. Nobody else wants them. I will turn them into a mega team. No, I won't. There we go. There we go. We're gonna go ahead now and turn off commissioner mode. It's kind of hard to believe that somebody would want that the team that's the worst in the league would not want one of the most successful managers in league history. Like my time with the Browns notwithstanding, I have 7 World Series championships. With the Braves, I went to the World Series every year but one. That's pretty crazy. And I think if anybody can help fix this organization, it's probably me. Who do we have to look forward to? Who are our good players? We have a number of acceptable pitchers. I don't know that any of these guys are a true ace, but we have an acceptable pitching staff. We have Johnny Hop. He's the hoppiest. Joe Gordon, who has seen a nosedive in his talent level. Gene Woodling, at least somebody relatively young and relatively talented. We've got a couple of players in the low minors that are relatively good, but this is a team that is almost utterly devoid of talent. We've got a lot of work to do, but it's going to be fun giving it the old college try. Plus, most important, we have the number 1 pick in the draft, and I think it's going to be a good year. I mean, look, why would I not draft him? Why would I say I need an elite offensive talent? Mickey Mantle, fuck that guy. Yeah, we're drafting the ever living fuck out of Mickey Mantle. It is not a question, it is a sentence. Mickey fucking Mantle! Exclamation point. Anyway, so we have that to look forward to. This also happen to remember when we played the Brooklyn Dodgers in a previous historical thing. We ended up with Mickey Mantle as well. So, until next time, my friends, this has been Abgardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.